welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. A team of doctors from World Pediatrics who were in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a laparoscopic mission performed life-saving surgery on a student who was stabbed in the neck last week at her school. Dr. David Lanning, lead surgeon of the laparoscopic team, explained to SVG-TV News that the student developed an infection which led to the formation of an abscess in her chest that required surgery to drain.
The young girl who unfortunately was stabbed in the neck this past week did require life-saving surgery. She had a large abscess in her right chest that we evacuated, drained with a chest tube that was confirmed to be well positioned with fluoroscopy. She sustained a laceration to her trachea, which is her main airway. Unfortunately, this led to a significant infection and abscess in her right chest that had to be drained to allow her to oxygenate well.
The surgery was carried out in collaboration with local doctors, and according to Dr. Lanning, the student is expected to make a full recovery.
This operation was done by Dr. Otusika as well as Dr. Ellis-Davy yesterday, and she remains in guarded condition. Fortunately, she has responded well to the procedure and continues to slowly improve in the intensive care unit. We anticipate that she will make a full recovery and will be followed up after discharge by Dr. Ellis-Davy.
During their 3-day visits to SVG, World Pediatrics performed 11 laparoscopic surgeries and provided training for local medical staff.
The team includes 2 surgeons, myself, David Lanning, and Dr. Claudia Otusika, and a surgical assistant, Tabitha Bristow. The focus of this trip is to do operations on children in a minimally invasive fashion, meaning that we use small incisions, small instruments, and a scope to do the operations, period. Many of them include removing a child's gallbladder, repair of undescended testicles, hernia repairs, gastrostomy tube placements, and Nissen fundoplications.
Well, Pediatrics has been conducting advanced surgeries in SVG and other Caribbean countries for more than a decade. In other news now, the Minister of National Mobilization, Keith Salpeters, said empowering individuals with disabilities to lead will help to enrich institutions, communities, and the country as a whole. Peters, who was addressing a rally in Georgetown on Tuesday in commemoration of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, stated that the government remains committed to implementing policies and programs that help persons with disabilities to thrive.
Seat at the table, but also the opportunity to shape agendas and drive decisions. Representation matters because it transforms perception and normalizes diversity in leadership. As it relates to support systems, empowering leaders requires mentorship resources and policies that promote equity. By fostering an ecosystem of support, we enable persons with disabilities to thrive in leadership roles. In our local context, we continue to make strides in addressing issues of accessibility, representation, and the support systems. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains committed to promoting social inclusion of persons with disabilities through a number of measures.
Peters also spoke about the numerous programs that have been implemented to ensure the empowerment of persons with disabilities.
Provision of duty-free concessions for the importation of motor vehicles to transport children and persons with disabilities to educational institutions and other recreational activities. Also, the provision of monthly disability social protection grants through the Public Assistance Program of the Ministry of National Mobilization et al., which has the responsibility for social development and persons with disabilities. Under this program, persons with disabilities can access assistance for food and other basic amenities, meals and transportation to facilitate their participation in school, medical assistance, utility bill payments, and under the Home Help for the Elderly program, persons with disabilities who are shut-ins are provided with care and assistance.
The government minister further highlighted programs being launched in a number of schools, including the Fairhall Government School, which has been equipped to accommodate students with disabilities.
As regards education, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has made progress in integrating differently abled children into mainstream education. A pilot program was launched where the Fairhall Government School was equipped with the necessary equipment and retrofitting to integrate differently abled children into the school. These students are able to participate fully in school activities where they will then be assigned to other mainstream educational institutions such as the Georgetown Secondary School, the Adelphi Secondary School, the Beckway Anglican School, and the St. Joseph Convent, Kingstown. Children are also able to enter other schools based on their performance in national placement exams. Additional support is available to the differently abled students to ensure that they are well integrated.
The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force today provided an update on the ongoing investigation into the deaths of 3 men in Paul's Avenue in capital Kingstown on Saturday, November 30th, 2024. Lawrence Warren, a 56-year-old cartsman of Otley Hall, Don Ashton, a 47-year-old laborer of Paul's Avenue, and Alston Henry, a 38-year-old resident of Diamond Village, were all fatally shot. The police say post-mortem examinations conducted on December 3rd has determined the following. Lawrence Warren died as a result of exsanguination due to or as a consequence of multiple gunshot wounds. Don Ashton died as a result of a gunshot wounds to the head. Alston Henry later succumbed as a result of exsanguination due to or as a result of multiple gunshot wounds. The SVG Police Force continues to appeal to anyone with information related to this incident to come forward to assist with this and other investigations. Last Saturday, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Medicinal Cannabis Authority, the SVG-MCA, distributed 200 vouchers, each valued at 1,000 EC dollars, along with 30,000 hybrid cannabis seeds to local cultivators at their station in Rivulet. The event was part of ongoing efforts to support the growth of the medicinal cannabis industry in the country. Tyrrell Mapp, Chief Operating Officer of the SVG Medicinal Cannabis Authority, described the distribution as a gesture of gratitude to the cultivators for their hard work and contributions to building the sector. He also highlighted the success of the recently held inaugural Cannabis Festival and an event aimed at celebrating and promoting the cannabis industry in SVG.
Successful in the sense that it is the biggest medicinal cannabis event ever held throughout the Caribbean. It attracted over 200 persons. Thousands of persons throughout St. Vincent became more aware of cannabis and its medicinal benefits, something that the traditional cultivators have been telling us for decades. And I want us to give the traditional cultivators, because today is really your day, a round of applause. As I speak, you will notice that my speech really focuses on gratitude and giving thanks, because I am so heartened, I am so happy, I am so elated, I am so energized and excited to see so many people here today on a Saturday morning, a very busy Saturday morning at the end of the month, to celebrate with us something that is so revolutionary. There is no country in the Caribbean or in the world that has given a license to a traditional cultivator. And today we are here where a government, a ministry is giving vouchers and seeds to traditional cultivators of cannabis to boost the production. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Bobby miners played a key role in securing the hybrid seeds for distribution. Miners, a well-known figure in local cannabis farming communities, worked tirelessly to ensure that the seeds reached his fellow cultivators, particularly those from traditional farming backgrounds.
I know as a weed man from morning. This ain't no news. Everybody know me as one of the men. And when the volcano blew, we had morning. We had asked for some assistance from Advanced Nutrients. They gave us $200,000 worth of fertilizer for free. We handed them out to the local traditional farmers and so on. And since then, me and James Loud and Marlon Asher had linked up. And they had actually come in around that same time period and give me my start with my first set of seeds. They gave me 5,000 seeds to experiment in the country to see how the strains would go. They gave me about 5 different strains. And the best, look, one of my farmers in the back there, Chucky, he was one of the men that came in after the volcano blew and assisted me in bringing the weed and them to fruition. And they came back. I asked them to come back for the cannabis show. Marlon Asher came and performed, and James Loud brought 30,000 seeds to hand out to the local community, to the regular man, not necessarily the big companies, but the traditional farmers and some of the local farmers as well, right? And I just want to say, we're trying to make this thing up. We have to push this. It can't be them pushing this always for we. We have to play a role and help to push this thing forward.
Minister of Agriculture Suboto Caesar also spoke at the event, offering his thoughts on the long journey towards the legislation and acceptance of medicinal cannabis. Minister Caesar stressed that the open discussion surrounding marijuana or weed did not happen overnight.
And every time I hold a mic to discuss cannabis and marijuana, I always remember those who did not make it and are not alive today to celebrate with us. And there's a common saying in the villages, if I ain't get to see it, ants will bring news for me. Well, a lot of ants carry news to people, because where weed is today, nobody could have ever imagined that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with all the trials and tribulations that we have been through, that we could be here today to celebrate things like these. Today, we are distributing over 200 vouchers. Each voucher is valued at $1,000. And the Greg's Rastafari Progressive Society and the Nyabingi group will be getting some bigger vouchers. In fact, there is an invoice that was submitted by the Nyabingi Order of Rastafari St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'm sorry that Imana is not here because he has another engagement, for $23,000 to assist them with shade houses. And the Greg's Rastafari Progressive Society also submitted for $10,000 to assist them in producing.
The distribution of seeds and vouchers is part of a broader initiative by the SVG Medicinal Cannabis Authority to empower local cultivators and ensure that the country can establish itself as a leader in the growing global medicinal cannabis market. Prime Minister Dr. Alfgan Saabs announced today that he will be out of state on official business to the United Kingdom and Doha, along with Qatar. Speaking on NBC Radio, Dr. Gonzalez said he will depart this evening for the trip, with his first stop being in London before heading to Doha for the Doha Forum.
When I arrive in London tomorrow morning at 9:35 their time, by the time I reach the hotel in London itself, it would be almost 12 o'clock. I just have to change, turn around, put on a suit and go to an appointment at 2:30 in that very day, in the afternoon, with the Foreign Secretary. Regrettably, I wouldn't be able to go to Curtains and be in Doha, in Qatar, for the Doha Forum, and I hope to meet leaders of the Qatari government and I come back on Wednesday the 11th. So I'm not going to be out for very long. Essentially 4 working days, really.
The Doha Forum is a global platform for dialogue, bringing together leaders from around the world to discuss critical challenges facing international policy and governance. The Prime Minister emphasized that while he is away, important work will continue as his delegation, which consists of 5 persons, will ensure that all ongoing matters are attended to.
Because I'm taking Angie with me, Angie Jackson. My delegation will be, it includes one security officer, press officer, Angie Williams Jackson, my permanent secretary, and Shaquille, Senator Bob, and Anson Latchman, who heads the youth. He's chairman of the Prime Minister Advisory Committee on Youth Advisory Council, sorry. And of course, a serious professional in his own right in the Ministry of Finance and Planning and Economic Planning.
The Prime Minister explained that the visit to the United Kingdom and Qatar will strengthen relations and provide opportunities to engage with global leaders on issues that are of importance to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Caribbean region. In other news, a new opposition political party called the National Liberation Movement, the NLM, has been formed. Led by Doris Charles Frederick, the party is expected to contest the next general elections. On Radio Today, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves was asked to share his thoughts on the emergence of the new party, which will compete alongside the Unity Labour Party and the New Democratic Party in the upcoming elections.
This is a free and democratic country, Johnny P. Anybody can form a party. You have freedom of association, Johnny P. We don't have a country where you have to get permission to register a party. You know, Johnny P. Just like you have freedom of religion. If you have a downstairs, you can say you have a church, you know. You don't get register it, you know. You could call yourself prophet and call your wife prophetess. You could get up in the middle of the night. You could have a dream. You could eat something which ride your stomach, and you get the dream and tell you must form a party. And you are the leader, and you are the most beloved of every. You can do that. There are a lot of people like that in the madhouse, you know.
The National Liberation Movement is set to officially launch later this month. The general elections are constitutionally due by early 2026. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force says it has received significant support for its highly anticipated annual Christmas caroling contest during a ceremony held on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 at the police headquarters conference room. This year's competition themed its 2024 We're Caroling for Sure promises to be an exhilarating event featuring 14 choirs, 7 senior choirs from divisions and departments within the RSVG Police Force and its auxiliary force, and 7 junior choirs from the police youth clubs. The Traffic Angels and the Spring Village Youth Club are the returning as the defending champions in the senior and junior categories, respectively. The sponsors of the contest this year are Standard Caribbean Shipping Inc., which sponsor the competition's trophies, and the Police Cooperative Credit Union, which donated 5,000 AC dollars. The RSVG Police Force says these donations play a vital role in ensuring the event's success and highlighted the ongoing support of both organizations towards its initiative. The annual Christmas caroling contest is scheduled for Friday, December 13th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Central Police Station in Kingstown.